Hello, I'm here today to introduce you to James Daley, who is editor of Which Money magazine and has been since May 2009. James is here today to tell us about the magazine, its target audience and its overall role within personal finance. Prior to joining Which Money, James was a personal finance editor at The Independent. It's been just over a year since you started at Which Money. How have you finding things?
Excellent, which is a fantastic organisation to work for. Unlike anywhere else, we don't have commercial demands on us. We're here simply and ultimately to try and improve the lives of consumers. So everything we're doing is about trying to improve problems in the market, educate consumers, make them more informed and empower them. And we're having great success with Which Money. We've seen double-digit rise in our circulation over the last year, and we're now, we have been for a while actually, the best-selling personal finance magazine in the UK.
So James, tell us a little bit more about Which Money. What are its unique selling points?
There are lots of benefits that you get on the side as well. So as a subscriber to Which Money or even to Which, you get access to a free money helpline. So you can pick up the phone and speak to qualified financial advisors and ask them about any problems you've got. We're not regulated, so we can't actually recommend products. I think our primary objectives within the magazine are firstly to educate our readers and help them better understand personal finance so that they can manage their money more efficiently. But then second, to sort of point out to them all of the areas that might be problematic, all of the pitfalls that they need to watch out for, and then sort of leading on from that, putting pressure on the industry to up their game.
Have you got any plans to up Which Money's digital offering, and how do you see these plans progressing?
Financial services industry in particular has been revolutionised by the internet over the last decade, and more people are now buying their products online and through comparison sites, which are ever more prevalent with their enormous TV advertising they're carrying out. But what struck us is that there's actually very few places that people can go for independent advice with their finances, and for us that's the big challenge right now, trying to move into that space and become the trusted voice for the consumer in financial services. And social media is of course one of the best ways to reach consumers there. So we are constantly upgrading our website, but then of course also improving our use of social media. At the moment we do use Twitter, but it's relatively limited. We don't really get involved on Facebook. So there's lots of other areas for us to open up into. Recently we launched a project called The Which Conversation. It's a separate website. It's up and running now. We haven't been shouting about it much yet, but it's basically sort of interactive forum where we start the debate and then we encourage people to come on there and have a chat with us about it and get involved.
So moving away from the online side, moving to the print side, the bread and butter stuff of what you guys do, what production cycles and deadlines do you work to?
Well, we're going to press in the middle of September for our October issue. A lot of the copy for the October issue would have been filed in the middle of August. And then obviously if it was filed in the middle of August, it was being written all through July and August, and sometimes it was commissioned months before.
So in terms of the financial services companies Broadgate Mainland works with, what are the best ways for them to communicate with you, and can you explain a little bit more about your ethical policy?
If you're looking at launching new products and services and you want to know how that might be perceived by consumers, you want to get a feel for it, we're more than happy to talk to companies on a confidential basis and give them our honest opinion about products and services they're thinking about launching. We do that regularly with some very major organisations. Ultimately, we are news driven in some senses here. We do put out press releases and we do try and drive certain stories to the top of the news agenda, but we respect our relationships with any companies that we deal with. In terms of our ethical policy, of course, we want to pay our own way. We don't accept corporate hospitality, but we're happy to meet with people for coffees and lunches and dinners and all the rest of it. That's important that we're retaining our independent stance. Being straight down the line.
So finally, what are your personal predictions for what's going to happen in the industry over the next quarter and into next year?
Pensions reform is another big one for the year ahead. There were obviously quite advanced pension reforms coming down the tubes from the previous government. The new government's now having a whole new look at that. We're seeing scrapping of compulsory annuitisation, perhaps raising of retirement age. So lots of big changes. There's an awful lot going on in financial services at the moment, when change occurs in an industry on a major scale, often the consumer gets a little left behind, and so we'll be keeping an eye out to make sure that the consumer gets a fair crack.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, James, and for chatting to Broadgate Mainland about Which Money.
Pleasure.
And many thanks to James Daley, editor of Which Money magazine, for joining us here at Broadgate Mainland.